Hey everybody, welcome to today's tapping break. Today I wanted to do a little bit of tapping around holding steady within ourselves when momentum externally seems like it's waning a little bit or it begins to wane. So I know for me, I feel like a lot of the changes that I've had to make in my life and a lot of the pivot points and the just the decisions that I've had to make have felt very quick and fast, and I have felt the sense of it all happens very quickly. It all happens very fast, and when we're making these kinds of changes, whether they're small changes or if they're like what we're doing for ourselves, like on a legacy level, right? Like if we're really shifting and changing stuff from within ourselves, um, you know, we I know for me, for the longest time, I always felt like there had to be some kind of charge or intensity or drama attached to these changes in order for me to know that they were happening. So, and when things felt slower or boring or a little less, chaotic, to be honest, it always felt like, well, nothing's going on, nothing's happening. And so today, yeah, I just wanted to maybe touch a little bit about how we feel like we need to make changes based off of the intensity and being like almost backed into a corner, like getting in the habit of, it's become a habit to kind of view those changes in a way that it has to be intense, it has to be charged, and not necessarily putting so much emphasis on those experiences to be our biggest teacher. Now, I am not knocking when we're backed into a corner, and I'm not knocking pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone in order to kind of see where our edges are at the furthest point. I'm not knocking, being uncomfortable in order to see what you're made of, kind of thing. But I think there's a purpose for all of these different levels. But just really being mindful if we're thinking that we need to have a certain level of charge or intensity or drama or pressure or stress or scattered moving energy or moving experiences, moving pieces and people, to make these big shifts and these the legacy work that we are doing for ourselves. So knowing where we're coming from, knowing that we can have a more settled approach to creating shifts in our life. And if you feel like you are a person who generally has to make choices within really scattered, chaotic, messy moments, and just how can you slow that down for a quick second so that you're not feeling like I'm gonna swear, like you're not feeling like you're gonna fuck it up. You're not feeling like you can't trust yourself to make the right decision, like the decision that you make is going to be so final that you're never ever going to be able to take it back or change it, which there are a lot of decisions that we need to make that are very permanent. And I mean, depending on where you are with those kinds of things, I mean, right in the moment, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you can always change your perspective after. Bullshit. In the moment, those things feel permanent, and the truth is, in that moment, they are permanent, right? So, and then we have a snowball momentum in that frame of reference, right? It just feels permanent. It feels like you messed up, or it feels like you can never take it back. And so fast forward, I just want to say too that if you have had experiences like that, which I think we all have, there is a level of going back in there and being able to walk through and get a different perspective and to just ease a little bit of the sting that may have come up around that. Anyway, this is getting off topic here. Anyway, so I don't want to knock anything. That's the thing. I mean, I completely understand the benefit of having to make snap judgments, snap decisions, being backed into a corner and being like, nope, this is what I have to do and this is what I got to do right now. Making those very knee-jerk reaction decisions that will affect things in the long term, right? So I'm not saying that we don't need that, but I'm just saying maybe we don't need to be in there all the time, right? And so hopefully this will kind of help out, especially when we feel a little bit bored or stagnant or uninspired or unmotivated, and we can start to build the trust that there are things going on, even if it doesn't feel, we attach chaos to things happening, where we can start to take a look at how, when is more settled energy, when it feels a little bit more mundane or boring, things are happening there too. And you can create just as much from that space as you can from being pushed out of your comfort zone. So let's see, I've got notes. So let's see, I might have covered all of this. Creating and deciding about changes or shifting from a stressed and scattered energy can feel unstable. We invite more instability into our lives. So this was a really big thing that I've just recently started shifting for myself, is that awareness that I am in a pretty settled state in my life right now. And so I have often needed to dig up or drudge up or dig into past shit in order to know that I can change still, right? So meaning, like, I'm bringing up past hurts, I'm bringing up past relationships, I'm bringing up, what happened 5 years ago, in order to know that I can still create change in my life. Because I've worked through a lot of things and I feel very settled in a lot of areas of my life. I feel like I need to pick apart or unravel some of the edges in order to mend them again, right? So it's kind of a funny thing, but if I've started to recognize that if I am trying to create a shift and change and trying to kind of rock the boat to get that shift and change, I'm gonna perpetuate that cycle of always needing to rock the boat to make a change, right? And where I am now, I want to know that I don't have to shake shit up to work, to make a change. I don't have to create change from an unsettled place, because that then, is an unsettled foundation of building onto. Hopefully that makes sense. So, and I do, like I mentioned this before, but I think some people do actually genuinely thrive by pushing themselves out of their comfort zone and pushing themselves to kind of the brink or to the edges to see, what they're made of or how they're going to react to things, or it really propels them forward. And if you are one of those people who genuinely, like, really not enjoy necessarily, but I have heard of people saying, like, with money stuff, like they make themselves buy something higher ticket or higher priced in order to move them or bump them into like a next level earning stage. That doesn't sit right with me. I don't like that kind of thing. I need stability. And I know that there are people who genuinely enjoy that kind of thing, or genuinely have that works for them. So if that's you, amazing. But this is more for people who are feeling like they want to make changes and like they want things done from a very settled place. Yeah, so also unnecessary drama, unnecessary struggle and stress and all of that. When we think about when we make these shifts and changes, we got to, again, push ourselves a little bit further. And it does build resilience to a degree. It does build our awareness and expansion for sure. But how much of it is necessary, and how much of it is us just saying we won't deserve X, Y, and Z until we push ourselves through X, Y, and Z, right? And again, that's a whole different topic. But for me personally, and I think for a lot of people too, we're learning to understand that familiarity gives us a little bit more of a clearer vision and a cleaner edges. So when things are moving really fast and chaotic, my autopilot jumps in, and we can also talk about rebuilding your autopilot to work for you, not against you. But anyway, I noticed that when I can slow things down for myself internally, I have a much cleaner and clearer frame of reference. And when things are scattered and crazy, my thing is I shut down, I get tunnel vision, everything goes blurry, and I can't see or feel straight. Let's just say that. So it doesn't come from my highest place there yet. Another topic. Okay, so Some of the feelings, I'd love for you to just tune into how you feel about making those changes and when you've had to make these decisions that have really impacted, long-term life stuff. And how did you feel? I've written down here scattered, intense. I've really noticed that at a point in time, there was a need for me to feel drama. So I would bring it in, or call it in. And I was almost addicted to that drama in order to change. Charged energy is more tangible and it feels like more is happening and more is in motion. Which again, like I had just mentioned, when there's a lot of energy moving, I don't see straight, I don't feel straight, I feel disconnected from my truer, genuine self. And so not to say that things aren't gonna hit the fan and I'm gonna have to make a snap judgment, I have to also release and trust that I will be able to make the right decision for me in that moment. But yeah, from this point of view, we're just really, leaning into releasing that need to make change through struggle and chaos. So places in the body also, if you take a minute, breathe in, just tune into where you're feeling that emotion or that energy compile or build up within yourself, within your physical body. Again, for me, it's usually in my gut. I get like a nervous, nauseated feeling when I know that I'm going to have to make a really quick decision and I'm not 100% sure. And there's going to have to be some surrender and trust, but there's also going to be this level of don't fuck it up, right? Like there's a level of pressure there. And then it's also in my throat because again, it comes back from the trust. It's, do I trust myself to say the right thing, do the right thing, activate, like initiate. Sorry, it's really windy here and I keep on feeling like there's people driving in our driveway, but it's just the wind. Anyway, so, and also that pressure of it being set in stone, like don't mess it up, don't screw it up, you can't take it back, it's permanent, it's final, that whole restrictive kind of pressure around that. So let's do a quick round of tapping around this. And just wherever you're at, taking a nice gentle breath if you can. I know that was kind of a lot. But just hang on to whatever is resonating with you. And just taking a nice gentle breath in and out. And just settling into what it feels like to have to make quick, fast decisions that feel chaotic and scattered, that have extra intensity or extra charge, extra drama. And just how you've handled those, what's happened, how have you felt, what have you thought when it comes to those experiences that you've had. And then we're going to just start gently tapping on the side of our hand and say, even though I've made a lot of decisions, I've made a lot of knee-jerk reactions, a lot of snap judgments, in really chaotic times. And I felt that shift. I've felt those changes take place. And it's been a little crazy. And I'm honoring where I'm at right now with love and acceptance. Even though I feel a little addicted to drama sometimes, I feel like I have to have a charged situation in order to make a lasting change. I'm honoring this part of me right now. And I love and accept myself anyway. Especially because this seems to be how it is. Does it even mean anything if there's not some level of intensity? Is it important for me to make a change if there's no charge to it? I'm honoring this part of me right now. And I'm learning to love and accept myself anyway. Top of the head. I feel very scattered some days. Eyebrow point. There's a lot of intensity in the world right now. Side of the eye. I want to make some lasting changes. Underneath the eye, that'll move me towards my better life. Underneath the nose, that'll move me in a more expanded direction. Underneath the mouth, where I can really be more of me. Collarbone point. And many of these experiences underneath the arms, many of these opportunities to change underneath the chest are very, very charged. This points, they're very, very intense. Top of the head, I'm gonna swear, you can't fuck around with these experiences. Eyebrow point, you can't mess things up. Side of the eye, whatever I say or do in these experiences, underneath the eye, they're gonna be set in stone. Underneath the mouth or nose, I feel a lot of pressure in these circumstances. Underneath the mouth, I feel backed into a corner. Collarbone point, like it's now or never. Underneath the arms, it feels very chaotic. Underneath the chest, it feels very full of pressure. Wrist points, and I forgive myself now for believing that all change, eyebrow point, needs to stem from this charged place. Side of the eye, I give myself permission now, underneath the eye, to see what it would be like underneath the nose, to change from a more settled energy. Okay, so taking a nice gentle breath there, just tuning back in how you're feeling, if that brought anything up for you. And a drink of water if you need. You know, maybe it feels true on a level and maybe it feels not so true or not so dramatic or not so intense looking back now, right? I think this is the beauty of hindsight, right? Obviously, when we look back on these things, we're like, oh, it wasn't all that bad. And we're like, you know, if we were to explain it to somebody or if we were to relive it or while we were living in it, it's like, no, that was a shit show, right? And again, like I said, we're not knocking those experiences being a part of who we're becoming and moving us through those experiences. Like those are very important, very pivotal pieces of who we are and who we're becoming and what we can learn from. But we just don't need to be there the majority of the time, right? We don't need to, we don't need to participate in it. We don't need it to make it our normal thing, right? So I wanted to do this next round a little bit quicker and just a little bit more geared towards how you want to feel when you're making these changes, when you're really settling into, I want to shift this part of my life or this belief or this emotional pattern that I've been, it's been on autopilot and it's gotten me to this point. Sorry, I just made a note here because I want to add this in the tapping. Okay. Anyway, so it's gotten us to this point, right? It's made us more resilient. It's built our strength and it's built our understanding. But now, we can start to shift and move. Maybe we're in a place now where we don't necessarily need to bring up a lot of old stuff or like I said at the beginning, I would try to find things that were wrong, or I would try to make things wrong, or I would bring things from way back in the past up to now to be like, okay, well, how do I shift that? How do I fix this? Just because we kind of like, especially within the personal development, health, self-help, and all of this stuff, I mean, it's very rooted in people's struggles. And yes, we do have our struggles and we will continue to have our struggles. But I really believe that once we get to a point where we're not feeling triggered and we're not feeling like we're struggling 24/7, we need to let that part go so that we can move into more of an expansive, abundant stage, because there's that whole level of personal growth and expansion, right? So anyway, how you want to feel. For me, like I said, when it's chaos, when I feel like I'm pressured or struggling with something and there's a lot of moving pieces, I feel like everything is blurry and I can't see. So I need to learn, I have had to learn to figure out what causes me to pause and to settle my energy just even just a little tiny bit. Just to give myself that extra second or that extra minute or that extra hour to lean into the possibilities, to lean into more options. I wonder if I can. Yeah. So my husband, he wrote this letter, and I just one of the lines is just stuck with me. Like it's just like I just love it. And it's so true for everything. It's just like the options that are given are not the same as the options pursued. So I don't think that was exactly what it was. Maybe I have to find it. Maybe I have to quote my husband. Oh my God. But anyway, it was just like, that is so true, because a lot of the time we're presented with the options that we think we have, but then also like we have the ability to go find our own options as well and bring those suckers. Anyway, so how you want to feel. Can you pause? How do you settle yourself? How do you ground yourself to be able to look for those new opportunities and to those options? And then also tapping into a little bit of trust. Like, of course, there's going to be things where you're going to have to make a split-second decision and you're going to be backed into a corner. You're going to feel pressure and stress. Do you trust that you will make the right decision? I think that's such a huge thing, is like building that trust within ourselves that we are doing what is right for us, right? We know what we can do. And again, I mean, there is a little piece of like, a lot of things are not set in stone, but a lot of things are very permanent and feel very permanent. And so if we can really trust that we're making the right permanent for now decision, or we really release that whole expectation that it's permanent, and we can move into a place of, well, I can always take a look at this after, and I can always kind of come back to how I feel after, and I can do some work around this after. It's not perfect. I love it's done is better than perfect. That's one of my mottos. Anyway, so let's just do a little bit of tapping around that, and then we'll we'll move from there. So taking a nice deep breath. It's so jazzed up. Tapping on the side of the hand and say, even though I've learned that chaos is a very good teacher. And that if I want to make big shifts, there's going to be a lot of big energy involved. There's part of me that still believes this. But I'm also ready to take a look at a settled side. And I'm open to exploring what this might look like for me now. Even though things still feel dramatic and chaotic, I feel like I only have limited opportunities. I'm giving myself permission now to breathe and to just see if I can expand my perception now with love and acceptance. Even though things still feel quick and fast, like I better make a choice or a decision real fast. The train is leaving. Are you on or are you off? I can see that this is one way that I think of things. But now I'm ready to explore. Settling in and expanding my awareness of possibilities. Top of the head. Yes, sometimes I feel scattered. Eyebrow point. This is just going to be part of life. Side of the eye. I'm looking into underneath the eyes and exploring how underneath the nose I can trust myself more underneath the mouth in these quick and fast decisions that I have to make. Collarbone point. What would it look like if I trusted myself more? Underneath the arms, would things be more chaotic? Underneath the chest, or would they be a little bit more exciting? Wrist points, would I feel a little bit more decisive? Top of the head, a little bit more self-assurance. Eyebrow point. I'm open to looking into this a little bit more. Side of the eye, this self-assurance thing. Underneath the eyes. But there's another big part of me too. Underneath the nose, who wants to feed that dramatic charged energy. Underneath the mouth, that feels like that is the way change is made. Collarbone point, and I'm open to seeing underneath the arms. If maybe I could just pause for a quick sec. Underneath the arm or chest, when I'm feeling that buildup of energy. Wrist points, when it's all gaining momentum. Out of the head, building up faster and faster. Eyebrow point. What will anchor me into my settledness? Side of the eye, even if just for a split second. Underneath the eye, just release the pressure a tiny bit. Underneath the nose, to open up more awareness in opportunities. underneath the mouth, and to expand my possibilities. Okay. I totally didn't do the ones that I was going to do, but we can talk about it here in a second. Just noticing what's coming up for you right now. Is there anywhere in your body that you're feeling still some restriction or constriction, or if you feel like you're really kind of, because you're addressing this issue that may be a very big thing right now, right? Like if you're addressing it and you're actually bringing attention to it, most of the time that relieves tons of pressure just in itself, because we're no longer sweeping it under the rug and, you know, telling it we're going to come back later, knowing full well that we may have good intentions. But so the other thing that I wanted to tap on, this could be a whole different tapping though, is that the me that engaged in the chaos, that participates in the chaos, the me that really is tied to making big shifts in very chaotic circumstances, that part of you has gotten you to where you are now, that has been a beneficial thing, that person or that part of you is actually, you know, it's doing her job or his job or its job, right? Like it is, that part of you is doing what it needs to do to get you to a place, to the next place, right? And so, you know, be grateful for that part of you that, you know, has just really kind of embraced the chaos, right? Or has really thrived in being, you know, put under pressure to make shifts and changes in your life. And not all of those shifts and changes, I'm sure, because I know for sure for me too, not all of those shifts and changes were wrong, or not bad or wrong. I don't like using those terms with this, but they weren't, you know, on a complete shit show foundation where, you know, you made this split second decision and then all hell broke loose because it's falling apart now as you're trying to move forward again. That could also be the case too, but yeah, just really being appreciative of that part of you that is almost like kind of in like that chaos survival mode, that has been there and taken over and, you know, had your back in those really tricky moments, or when those really charged energies have come in with those experiences, circumstances, that part of you that's dealt with the drama, you know, that's come up and been like, I got this, even though they're probably adding to it, but that's okay, right? Like, I mean, it's there, it's been that part of you, or it's been there for you, up until, you know, this point, and it's still going to be there for you. We're not done with that part of ourselves, right? But we can just start to kind of be aware of, you know, not letting that part of us take over for the majority of the time. So one last quick breathing, tapping. We're going to do a quick one, just breathing through the points, and then we're going to sign off. We're going to close out. Oh my God, my mini donkey and my gelding, who's like 22. Is he 22? He's 21. Anyway, they're like ripping around the field. They get so aggressive with each other. I thought one of them was dying yesterday. Anyway, lots of funny sounds they make when they wrestle. Okay. So taking a nice gentle breath, tapping on the top of the head, and breathing in and out. Eyebrow point, breathing in and out. I'm just opening up more awareness. Side of the eye, breathing in and out, allowing for more insight to settle throughout the day. Underneath the eye, breathing in and out. Allowing things to gently sink in. Underneath the nose, breathing in and out. Underneath the mouth, breathing in and out. Collarbone point, breathing in and out. Yawning is good. Underneath the arms. Yawning, sneezing, watering eyes, crying, gurgly guts, fidgety, all good. Underneath the chest, breathing in and out. And whispering. Breathe in and out. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I hope that this was helpful in some way and that there was something that stood out or something that made sense to you. If you are curious about digging more into this kind of stuff, I do offer individual tapping sessions. They're 90-minute tapping sessions where we work one-on-one, and they're Zoom calls, and we just kind of take a look at where you're at and we just dig into whatever comes up in the moment. So I have that available until the new year, and then things are gonna rearrange a little, I think. But anyway, so if you're interested in that, again, they're 90-minute sessions. You can book through, I'll put the link in the description here. And I'd love to know if anything resonated, if anything was, you know, landed with you, or if it, yeah, made sense for you. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.